Record.
Welcome to Spiritual Medicine. I'm your host, Kim Rising, and I'm delighted to have Jenifer Faulman here with me today, talking about the divine feminine in spirituality. So, Jenifer, could you introduce yourself for everybody and let
Hi.
them know who
Yeah.
you are, what you do, where they can reach you, those kinds of things?
Yes. Hi, Kim. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited and honored to have you and I have a chat, basically. And I am, my name is Jenifer Faulman. You can call me Jen. Most people do. And I am a Reiki teacher. Some people call it Reiki master teacher because it's the fourth level of Reiki, but I don't love that word master because I don't feel like I'm a master of anything. But I'm a Reiki teacher and practitioner, so let's just put it that way. And I just practice out of my home. I do distance sessions, and I will give you my website when we're done that you can put in the description,
Excellent.
if that's
Thank you.
okay. You
Yep,
can also get me on
absolutely.
Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram handle is Mary Recluse, Mary as in happy, MERRYRECLUSE. That's the easiest way to find me.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, right off the bat, I know this is not a question that I had suggested to you that we would discuss, but I thought it was very interesting that you mentioned not feeling like you're the master of anything. And it just struck me in that moment that that is a huge part of the feminine, I think,
Oh,
is remaining open to new experiences. And I know definitely in my own spiritual practice that it's so important for us to never feel like we know everything, but to stay open to what is and how kind of the idea of how life shows up in the present moment.
yes, definitely. I feel like that's exactly what I was going to talk about with the divine feminine, which is about allowing and trusting God, source, spirit, creator, all that is, whatever you want to call it. And I mean, it's just energy to me, but like the energy of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's kind of what I've been working on lately is that whole allowing process in so many different ways. Not just allowing life to happen to you. I actually have a tattoo on me that says it's a quote by Austrian poet. And I won't say his name because I can't say it correctly, but it's spelled Rilke.
Yes.
um, and it says, "Let life happen to you. Believe me, life is in the right always." And I had to have that tattooed on myself to remind me because I freak out about everything. I mean, every little thing. And so I can just look at my leg and read that and remember that things are happening for us, not to us. I really do believe that. And and I kind of think that that's what spirituality is to me, is the awareness that that's why we're here, is to have these experiences that are sometimes really difficult in order to grow and expand our souls. We're, you know, we're souls and bodies. We're not bodies with a soul. I think I said that right. But yeah, I think you know what I mean. It's like my
Yes.
soul is the priority. The body is just the vessel, and not that it's
Mm-hmm.
not important. It's very important. We need to bring all of that, the soul, grounded into our bodies in order to be effective here. So, yeah, I'd already rambled, so I'm going to stop there and see if I answered your question or not.
Yes, and you made some other additional really good points, and that's the idea of having something that helps to root you into your focus in the moment, and how you mentioned the tattoo helps you to do that.
Yeah, it's just a reminder, a very painful physical reminder that I forget. I forget often. You know, we're just humans, and all of this stuff. I want to make disclaimers. Like everything I say it doesn't mean I do it all the time perfectly. This is just like the things that I know I'm aware of, that I know I'm learning, that are in process. And it's also just how I feel and know right now, because it's constantly changing. If we interview in a week or two, I might have totally different answers.
Mhm.
So so that's my little disclaimer. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you say is your experience of spirituality?
Well, like I said, it's the awareness of that this isn't, this physical reality isn't all there is, that it's not random that we're here. It's the things that happen to us aren't random. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I've just had too many experiences that are, minor miracles.
Hmm.
But I feel like the experience of spirituality is sometimes really painful. It's not, a lot of people think, when they are having a spiritual awakening, that it's rainbows and butterflies and unicorns flying around. And it's not at all. That has not been my experience. Um, all of my biggest growth has happened through basically suffering, but also fear. Getting over fears is a big one. I've noticed that um, now I look for the things I'm afraid of, like this. This would be something I never would have done. Back in even 10 years ago. Terrified of speaking in public, absolutely horrified. Yeah, so I mean, I,
Yes.
I was not a straight A, but I was a good student in school and in college. And the only class I ever dropped out of was speech, because it made me physically ill to think about going in front of people and talking. So this is a great example of just, I believe if you can look for your fears and do that thing, you're going to grow leaps and bounds. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it is really, really worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I have to say that this whole idea of speaking to a camera, not being in person with someone talking versus listening, that whole construct platform has been what has slowed me down in starting this project.
Yeah.
It's been the biggest stumbling block for me. And like you, I've just decided to lean into my fear. Plus, I'm tired of the universe whispering in my ear that I need to do this. So,
It's not so much whispering anymore. It gets to be
yeah,
like a hammer upside the head, isn't it?
right, right. But I, for one, am very glad that you're willing to lean into your fear because if not, we wouldn't be able to be here in this moment having this wonderful conversation. So thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And
And
thank
I
you. Look at
acknowledge how
you.
difficult that can be.
Yeah. Yeah, we're getting past our fears. Look at us.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, can you share with us one of your spiritual experiences that you've had that's kind of brought you to
Hmm.
this moment in time?
That's my favorite subject. Yes.
Okay,
I have so many that I was like pouring through notes and trying to think
wonderful.
what would actually be the most effective one to share for other people,
Hmm.
because nobody cares about the stuff I think is really cool that's just random orbs showing up in my bedroom or something.
I do. I
Well, we can
do.
talk about that later. But but I think unfortunately it's one you've already heard. But I have to share the my heart opening experience
Okay.
that is kind of, there were many little things that kind of started me on the path of, I don't know, woo, doing spiritual things or being interested, really interested in spirituality. And one of them was getting over a fear of, um, I've never had children, so I never wanted children. And my husband and I, we went to Norway. I'm gonna say, was it 8 or so years ago? It might have been 9. Time is strange right now, but at any rate, I was an exchange student when I was a teenager to Norway, and so we returned to Norway 30 years later. I brought my husband with me, and my host family allowed us to stay in their house. They drove us all over the country, which is absolutely stunning. And every time you turn a corner, you're in awe. I mean, if you want to be in awe, go to Norway. I'm just saying, a little side note. But um, so we were so, me in particular, we were so blown away by their generosity, and I was in like tears with gratitude because they did so much for me, and I'm going to cry, but that's okay because I knew I would. I can't not tell this story, not cry when I tell this story. Um, but when we returned home, something synchronistic happened where people needed homes for vegetarian exchange students because nobody wanted them, and I was so sad because we're vegetarian. I'm vegan, but whatever label you want to put on it, we eat plants, a lot of plants. so um, so I thought, well, that'd be perfect because then we don't have to worry about having a student that wants to eat meat and stuff, and they wouldn't be complaining. So at any rate, we decided that we were going to host an exchange student, even though I was terrified of sharing my home and my schedule. I'm very routine oriented, particular, you might say. Um, not not really wanting someone close up in my business all the time. So I was terrified, but I decided to do it anyway. Um, she stayed with us for 6 months. Ella was her name, and she's still considered my honorary daughter. And she was the most sweet, compassionate, smart, loving gift that we could have imagined. She was a gift because I believe because I got over that fear. It was like the universe said, here you go, you did it, congratulations. And I was thinking about this last night, why it was so special to me, because the thing that happened was her parents came to pick her up after the 6 months was over, and I met them, and they were so lovely and generous, and like I couldn't handle all the love they were
Mm,
showering on us, and I don't think I was very good at receiving that. I'm still
yeah.
not that great at receiving that. That's part of the divine feminine, right? The
Yeah.
receiving part. We're
Yeah.
we're in this culture where we're taught to do, and you know
Yep.
it's so opposite of what we all know.
Yep.
So I laid in bed that night, vibrating. I had no idea what energy was back then. I was vibrating. I couldn't sleep. I was just like, I don't know, high with love. I didn't know what was happening, but I was like my heart was expanding. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I know was happening now looking back on it. Um and so going back to what I didn't finish was why I think that was so important for me. That experience was I'd had this fear, again, a fear of being seen my whole life. I longed for it, but I was also terrified of it, of being seen. And I didn't feel like I'd ever been seen before. And I felt so seen with her and her whole family. It was, it was, it was like they were reflecting back to me parts of myself that I didn't know were there. Um, and reflecting loving parts, I didn't have a very good concept of myself. And it showed me so much about myself, and it showed me that we do live in a kind, supportive universe. It's not trying to punish us. It's reflecting what's inside of us. So, that was a very long story, and I hope
No,
I
no,
answered
it's
the
beautiful. It's a
question.
beautiful story. And I think it's such a powerful illustration of how our willingness to be vulnerable, our willingness to be open, our willingness to say yes to anything, especially those things that, like you were saying, we were saying earlier, brings us fear or creates fear for us.
Yeah.
That's where all the good stuff is really here in the present moment. We just have to be willing to open to it, accept it, see it, see that it is here present with us. But the struggle being, like you were saying, we're raised and taught and socialized into this patriarchy that's very thought focused as opposed to heart focused,
Mhm.
um, and very goal oriented driven, where it's very regimented and very go through these steps to get to where you want to be.
Mhm.
Whereas the reality is that everything that we need for our own personal spiritual growth is created by the universe for us, and it's right here in the present moment. We just have to be willing to sit with it.
Yeah, it really is. The more I learn and experience the present moment. I mean, I'm not really good at meditating, but I've been practicing it more lately. And I don't like to call it meditating. I like to call it allowing because it feels to me like that's what we need to do, or what I need to do. I can only speak for myself, is to sit and allow what's already here to come in. And that's where we get messed up, is our humanness. We block ourselves so many times
Yeah.
with all these negative emotions,
Well,
fear,
that whole,
anger.
yeah, and that whole survival, um, I want to say, in a way, it is a mentality, but also just the survival drive that's so hardwired into our hindbrain is so powerful. And I don't think we really realize on a day to day, moment to moment basis how much that influences us. And certainly, the older we get, the more experiences that we have, because statistically, the older you get, you're bound to have had at least one negative experience. And
Yeah.
I think that's an extreme understatement these days with
Oh,
the way
yes.
life is and the chaos of life. And I think just the chaos of that unchecked patriarchy has really done a number on all of us.
Yes.
And so the meditating, the mindfulness, all of these things, I think, because they're so opposite of what life demands and what the flow of life right now, it gives us an opportunity to balance things out for ourselves.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't want to in any way insinuate that um, this negates what's going on in the world, because it is a mess. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but I can only say from what I've experienced by practicing allowing that, or meditating, or whatever you want to call it, is when I do that, I'm aware that most of the stress is created by my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what's actually happening here right now is not a lot. I mean, like here now, right
Right.
now, we're safe. You and
Yeah.
I are talking. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
But there's that um like a running tape that we have playing in the back of our
Mm-hmm.
minds all the time. Oh my God, there's stuff in the world, it's wrong, and we need to fix that.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like the allowing is helping me to realize there isn't anything to fix. I mean, I'm talking on a much higher level.
Right.
Of course, we don't want to watch people suffer, but we can't save the world. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this is, I feel like a lot of, empaths or people who
Mm-hmm.
are are really hyper aware of what's going on and are feeling it in their
Mm-hmm.
bodies want to save the world. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't. You have to save yourself first. Um, it's in the saving of yourself, I think, is how you save the world. Because,
Yes.
yeah, when you can um, feel the peace that is here in your body, you send out that frequency
Yep.
and train the rest of the people around you and the planet to hopefully accept a little bit of that too.
Yep.
That's on them, but we can only do what we can do for ourselves. Yeah.
Well, and I think too that that is such an empowering step to take, right? Where we're pulling our power back, especially like you were saying, those of us that are empaths, which typically we are survivors of some kind of childhood abuse that cracked us open early and made us so open with so very few healthy boundaries, so open to the world at large that are in it's I think we're raised to think of working out here. Just like I was saying earlier, that's kind of the role of the patriarchy. Set these goals, go through these steps to get your goal, work harder, all of these kinds of messaging, which in and of itself is not bad. It's just that it's only one way. And I think it's far more powerful for us to pull our power back to ourselves, especially as empaths, and to work here and to heal here. And then that, like you were saying, that frequency, that energy, that wave then goes out as a potential to change the world.
Yes. Yeah. Oh,
And so hard to do.
it is. It is because when you are so used to doing things outside of
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
and managing everybody else's emotions.
Yeah. Well, and the truth being that most empaths, I think, at least the ones that I've known in my life, tend to be a calm presence in the storm, right? So
We're
because
used to it.
we've
Yeah.
had so much emotion within us that we've learned to calm it and to deal with our own emotions, that now we're like, now I just need to quiet the world, right? I
Right.
just need to
Yeah. Good luck.
slow the world down, calm the world down because it's so noisy
Yeah.
and it's harshing my mellow, right?
Yes. Yeah. That's the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it just makes me think too what you were saying earlier about our whatever we're offering, whatever our frequency is, then goes out into the world. David Hawkins has had several books, and that was his life work essentially was studying that idea, that concept that if we are holding a spiritual frequency that's higher than those around us, it will encourage those around us to rise to our higher frequency.
Hmm. Yes. And I just was, I think I was listening to something on YouTube or reading something where someone was saying, oh, all the spiritual people are really quiet right now. Nobody's standing up or for the horrible things that are happening in the world. And they're just, it was insinuating that they were ignoring it or not doing anything about it. And I was like, you have no idea how much work it is to
Yes,
work on yourself and deal with all of your shadows in order to raise the frequency.
yes,
Because that's not nothing, but they just don't
yes.
understand that level.
Mm-mm.
Again, it's a different level of work.
Yes, absolutely. And again, just like you were saying, I can only speak from my own experience as an empath. Um, and it's exhausting just maintaining my own spiritual frequency in this crazy, chaotic world, trying to anchor, hold space in the work I do with my clients and in the work I'm going to be doing on this platform and anything else in the future that I do. That is exhausting work. And there's
Yeah.
no physicality to it. Like you were saying, they're really, we're sitting here talking.
Right.
As empaths move through the world, they don't look like they're doing anything magical, right? We're not here
Yeah.
throwing Tai Chi moves or
You don't.
brandishing a wand and casting a spell.
Yeah.
But it's just that if I learned nothing in this lifetime, it was that how exhausting that work is, how
Yes.
deeply draining it is to hold space, to hold whatever our spaces are as we go out into the world. If it's, the property I live on, if it's the office that I work out of, if it's my car driving down the road, or when I go into the stores,
Hmm.
holding my little bubble of calm, quiet peace is extremely challenging.
Yes. Sometimes just working on your own, holding your own space is enough, but then
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can stop there. I think we're always thinking of how can I spread a little bit of this,
Yeah.
around wherever I go. I remember when I first learned Reiki and uh, some other just I was collecting practices basically, and I was
Mm-hmm.
doing everything, like everything I
As a
could
lot of us
possibly
do,
do.
yes.
So I would go for a walk in the park, and I'm like sending light into the ground as I'm
Yeah.
walking, or leaving a trail behind me and hoping it will be there for someone
Yes.
else can to follow behind me, sprinkling pixie dust imaginarily on the cashiers at the store or whatever. But yeah, that gets really draining too, even though it's fun at first. But yes, I think it just
Absolutely.
goes back to putting your own oxygen mask on
Yep.
first and all that, which is so kind of trite to say and really hard to do sometimes, but
Absolutely.
necessary. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, and I think too, my sense is that a lot of us that are here in this moment in human history as healers have been healers in the past, and we've achieved a certain proficiency at it. And I think the way that we used to heal was to pour so much into everybody and to carry them to healing and to carry them to healing places and to do all this physical work. And so I think that's our lesson in this moment in time, is which is, to me, for me, my personal experience is it goes against every cell in my body.
Mhm.
I have to restrain myself from doing that kind of work and just focus on keeping my energy field, my spiritual frequency healthy.
Yes.
But I've tried the other way enough in this lifetime to know the damage that it does to me.
Yeah, and that's
And
how
it,
we learn. You just have
yeah,
to experience it and then you know
yep,
better. You
yep.
know.
And I've learned, that puts me in bed for days to
Yeah.
recuperate. So, I can't, I just can't, I physically can't. And I think that's such a powerful experience because the past me would say, oh, well, you're just not strong enough, or you need to practice this more, or you need to develop more endurance, right? That
Hmm.
whole patriarchal concept of
Keep pushing.
strength, right? Which I mean, is all well and good, and there is some truth in that, but it needs to be balanced with the wisdom that we have to find ways to show up in the world as healers that is sustainable, that we can continue to do the work that we need in the future days. That's going to be so imperative, more so than ever before.
Yes, yes. It's that great imbalance that is the problem. It's not
Yeah,
that, the divine masculine is wrong. It's
yeah,
that we need everything
right.
balanced,
Yep,
not just everything being masculine, which is what we've been in for, a
yeah,
couple thousand years now.
yep. Yeah, it's
So,
time for us as women to stand up and speak our truth. Not that that's the only way, but like you're saying, to balance out the masculine, to offer other options, to show that when things are imbalanced, everything works so much more efficiently
yes.
and effectively.
Yeah, yeah, they support each other. And when you said uh, the speaking the truth, it just reminded me that I heard about the fact that I think 80 plus percent of women are the ones that have thyroid issues, that are on thyroid medication. And
Hmm.
I think it's something like 85, but don't quote me on that. Um, but the point is, that's your throat chakra. And
Hmm.
we've all been taught and trained to stay silent for way too long. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's time to
And we've carried too
end
much
that.
of the work silently.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Oh,
Well,
wow.
we only have a few more minutes. We haven't really covered my questions, but yet, in a way, we have in
Kind of,
lots of
yeah.
other ways, right?
Yeah.
So, is there any of the questions that I have here that you want to address that we haven't already, or something else entirely from based on what we've already said that you'd like to mention?
Let me see here. I do have notes. I'm just taking a look here. I kind of, like you said, I think we covered everything accidentally, which was really nice. That was very flowing conversation. And, um,
It's
oh,
amazing how that goes.
yeah, I know.
Spirituality, flow, when you get in that flow, things just kind of open up the way they're supposed to. And I really do.
Yeah.
If I don't trust anything else in the world right now, I do trust that.
That's awesome because I think
Yeah,
trust is a big deal for a lot of women, and
rightly so. Yeah,
as far as not, us not trusting ourselves or God or other people or whatever in many ways. I guess I want to just add a little extra to what we already talked about because I think it's pertinent, and that is, I want to share that over my years of practicing Reiki, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't really practiced it much at all this year. I've been doing other things. But when I was practicing, I've evolved to a point where, I started out wanting to fix people. So we were talking about like saving the world, and I just want to say that's not what Reiki is about to me anymore. It's not about fixing people or saving them from their lessons or even saving them from suffering because I feel like, as we said, suffering is often a really great motivator for people to change when they're at rock bottom. So now, I feel like it's my job to hold space for people's wholeness and perfection. And wholeness and holiness sound almost the same for a good reason. So, so it's knowing that, like we said, everything is already here for you. You're already perfect. You just have to let it in.
yeah,
And so I wanted to add that little because it went along with what we were talking about
yeah,
already, and
yeah.
I just didn't get to elaborate on it. We just didn't get to talk about menopause. That's all.
Well, we'll have to do, so if you'd like, I'd like to plan to do, a second video if
Sure,
you're
that'd
open
be
to the
great.
idea. Okay, so we
Yeah,
can kind of digest what we discussed today and then come back for a part two.
sounds fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Kim.
taking your time to be here with us and to share your wisdom and your experiences.
Aw, well, thank you for asking me. It's been an honor, and it's been really fun too. So
Well, that
we
was a
just
no-brainer, but okay.
well, hopefully we just raise the frequency a little bit. So
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully, well, I think if nothing else, putting a little wisdom, especially for young women, putting a little wisdom out in the world is never a bad thing.
yeah, yeah, we need all the help we can get right now, us
That's
women.
right, don't we? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Jenifer.
Okay, bye.